a political strategist on MSNBC. By the way, just for those of you who are not in the cable news business, who are not in the political media, when you see someone come on television and it says political strategist, that is a synonym for unemployed. If they have a job, it will say what their job is. If they don't, it's a political strategist. Have you? That's not a real job. So this woman, Susan Del Percio, goes on to MSNBC and building upon this idea that Democrats are dehumanizing Republicans, she said it's very clear right now the GOP needs to burn to the ground.
I've been looking for a new word for Trumpism because I hate it, because I think it goes deeper than just Donald Trump within the Republican Party. And I keep coming back to the same name. It's neo-fascism. It needs to burn down. It literally needs to be demolished before you can go in and build it up again. And, the people who actually say, why, please stay a Republican are Democrats who like to say, let's argue back tax policy, because they know you need a strong Republican Party. Right now, it's not strong, but it really does need to be burned down to the ground so it can come back up. But that also means there has to be people willing to keep their Republican credentials to be there when it's time to build it up.
George Orwell is often invoked in these sorts of political discussions, and rightly so, because he made some good observations, not just in 1984, but in an essay called Politics in the English Language. In that essay, Orwell says that fascism, and he wrote this many, many years ago, fascism no longer has any meaning. Fascism now means no more than something that I do not like, something that I do not desire. Right? This woman, I suspect, could not define fascism. They tell us that we can't define critical race theory. Yes, we can. Critical race theory is an academic movement that developed over the past 30 or 40 years that says that America's defining feature is its anti-black bigotry, and that this permeates every aspect of the United States, including its system of property, including its economics, and it derives from a broader Marxist tradition. That's true, and you can read about it in my book, Speechless, and you can read about it in other sources as well. What is fascism, according to this woman? It's nothing. George Orwell writes in this essay that when people don't want to think, not even when they can't think, but when they don't want to think, you just open your mind up to cliches, and then the cliches fill your head, and then they will do the thinking for you. And that's what has happened. This woman says it's a neo-fascist party, doesn't define what that is. Then she says, it needs to be burned to the ground. And we need a strong GOP. Why? Why does this woman, I don't want a strong Democratic Party. Why does this woman want a strong Republican Party? It's just a thing that she said. It doesn't mean anything. And then she says, because right now it's not strong. Well, if it's not strong, what are you so worried about? Why does it need to be burned to the ground? You're worried because it is strong. This is like when people, including Nancy Pelosi, complained to Donald Trump that the border wall was ineffective and inhumane. Hold on. Which is it? If it's ineffective, then it's not inhumane because it's not bothering anybody. If it's inhumane, then it's not ineffective because it's actually doing something. But it's just these words that don't mean anything. They just fill the air. It's so beyond any political point that this woman thinks that she's making. It's this shallowness, this pathetic rhetoric that it's just words. It's not even words. It's just grunting. It's like it's somehow below the level of speech. And obviously very dehumanizing. You'll notice, not that Republicans can't get riled up, but when we speak about people on the left, we tend to be a little calmer because we know where they're coming from. We know what their premises are. We know how they're going to get to a conclusion. It's too bad. It's bad for the country. We want to stop it, but we get it. With these people, I mean, goodness gracious, this woman is about as shrill as it gets. As they don't understand, they actually don't understand where we're coming from. They don't get why someone would vote for Donald Trump or whoever the next nominee is going to be. Or before Trump, it was Romney was the worst guy ever. Remember that? Then it was McCain, then it was Bush, and then is our democracy, our democracy demands that we have a strong Republican Party, but and now it's weak, but it's also too strong, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Stop. Heed my warning before the COVID cops come knocking at your door. You got to watch this whole episode. That's the title of it. When the COVID cops come knocking, you can get it here on YouTube. Subscribe, like. You can get it at Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, over at the Michael Knowles Show podcast. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And especially let me know what you think of my new book, Speechless, Controlling Words, Controlling Minds. Available now wherever books are sold, unless it's a lib bookstore, in which case you'll have to special order it. See you next time.